Welcome to Queen Honey Games. I am your host, Queen Honey. Today we are talking about fostering a safe and authentic gaming community for all. And I have two lovely people here today. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Emma. You might know me as Misty Step online. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and I make kind of like skit meme-based content about Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons.
And hi, I'm Magic Mishamigo. You can find me over on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Threads. I am a cosplayer and just Magic player. I'm also a big part of the VML, and I do casting over on their site.
So a question that I love to ask everyone that I meet in the Magic the Gathering community, because I love pet cards, is what is your favorite pet card?
I guess, I don't know if it's pet card. I have a lot of history with this card. When I first started on Arena, I was really bad at it, so I just had like one deck that I had, figured like one lifelink combo, and it was Vampire of the Dire Moon and Bloodthirsty Aerialist, so I kind of count them both, but I probably run Vampire of the Dire Moon in more decks now. It's just my little 1/1 with Death Touch and lifelink, and I love her.
Nice,
So,
nice.
She was banned on Arena, but
No.
we can't always have what we want.
For me, it would definitely be Fibblethip the Lost.
Okay.
I've cosplayed Fibblethip, just a little guy, just hanging out,
Just doing things.
you know, getting totally lost. I can relate to that, so yeah, he's my favorite.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we are here actually at MagicCon Vegas, so I'm wondering what is something that has encouraged you here this weekend and helped make you feel seen?
Wanna go first?
Yeah, honestly, just all the friends I've made. I'm a social butterfly. I'll admit that. But having met just so many wonderful people in the community, like knowing that I have those kind of close connections with people here. You know, no matter what, like they saw me in costumes or even out of costumes when they recognize me, they're always just so supportive and encouraging. And just having built those friendships that, you know, we all love this game, but we're all real people, and you can have that deeper level with people that you share a hobby with. Like that has been so huge for me, because I was so nervous yesterday, and just having people that, you know, run up and like, you look so good, and just it's definitely made me feel seen and appreciated. And you know, winning was also just, you know, really nice. I felt very seen and appreciated there as well. But even before all of that, like I very much felt like all my hard work and everything I've done was seen.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think I've met a ton of people that I've like only spoken to online, so it's so nice to see everyone and get like the community in life. But I think that Wizards of the Coast also did a good job of making a space for the creators and giving us like tables and different ways to interact with people, so it feels more kind of natural, like everyone's just hanging out.
Well, just making friends.
Yeah.
Well, something that you both kind of spoke on a little bit was that you were a part of the cosplay competition here this weekend. So one, I guess, who were you and what was that experiencing like, either creating the character or connecting with the character, whatever you would like to share?
Yeah. Do you want to go first this time?
I can. I was Rowan, Scion of War, which was spoiled in, the art was spoiled in Minneapolis, which was my first ever MagicCon.
Oh, wow.
So even before we had the card, I really loved that art, and I was like, if I start that now, I'll have 4 months to do it instead of just
Big brain.
2 months. Yeah, that was a big chunk of the decision. It was just like, I'll have so much time, but also just kind of love her as this like a strong female character. She's like kind of always been paired with Will, and now she's kind of like breaking off and
for the first time.
Yeah, she's like, I'm my own person, and I'm gonna get stuff done.
Yeah,
so I like that a lot.
What was something that was challenging that you were like, once you were able to accomplish that in your cosplay, you were just so relieved? Did you have anything?
I was so nervous about the cape because I did sewing in 4-H when I was little. And so like I made a purse, and I made a dress, and I'm like, I could do this. And then I realized it's been 10 years, and there are these nice old ladies telling me how to do everything in 4-H. I don't have those here.
Yes.
So once I got over that, I was like, all right, everything else will be pretty easy from now on. That was the big thing I was worried about. But.
Well, it looked wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about you?
All right, so Emma and I were in very different competitions. You were in the normal cosplay competition. I was in the cosplay grand championship, which I feel like added an extra level of like stress, because it was all of the best in show winners from the last 4 cons, and we only had less than a month to make our costumes. So that was
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, we were just given a prompt that we would be a character from an upcoming set, and then we got some concept art, and they were like, okay, choose one of these color combos to do your character based on, and it was going to be a detective from that color combination. And so I went with Rakdos. I was like, I feel like I am the embodiment of chaotic gremlin energy. So I was like, I want to be a Rakdos character, and with being Magic Misha Migo, I feel like I do some magical girl stuff. So I was like, Dark Carnival meets magical girls. Yeah, I'll do a detective that kind of embodies all of that, and yeah, it came together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You look so good. You won. So huge congratulations.
Thank you. It still just is like, I think it'll be like middle of next week. Maybe when the sword arrives, I'll be like, oh my gosh.
It's in your house.
Yeah, it's like, it's here. It's real. Yeah, it still feels completely surreal.
You're gonna be walking around to do laundry or something with the sword in
Yeah,
hand.
like, come here, kitty cats.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
Oh my god,
Those lights.
they're not allowed to touch the sword. They break everything I love, not the sword.
Yes, yes.
Bolt that one down.
So do you have actually just any kind of advice for those that are starting out in cosplay, new cosplayers? What would you give advice for them?
So a couple things. Pick a character that you're really passionate about, something that you like, and because cosplay is hard. Like, there are going to be bits and pieces that are going to be a struggle. You might have to redo them. You might have to start over. So if it's a character that you really enjoy, I think you're more likely to, pick it up and not just be like, oh, never mind, I don't want to do this anymore. So that would be my first piece. And then second is, if you don't quite have the skills to do everything that you want to do for your costume, what is it? You don't have to make it store-bought, it's fine. They sell a lot of costumes online, so like, don't be afraid to just buy one of those. They're not all great. I'll put that out there, there's a disclaimer. But they're great building blocks. Like, you could build off of it, upgrade pieces, and then when you start building your skills and you can do something on your own, it's okay to work in like levels. That's fine.
I think that's wonderful, because it does kind of seem like this intimidating, out of reach thing. So being able to start and learn along the way, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my big thing would be just go for it. Like, I spend too much time on social media for my own good, so I'm seeing like everyone else's cosplays. I'm like, oh god, I can't do that, and I can't. But I made something. Like, I glued some foam together and made something that turned out cool. I didn't win anything. It wasn't super advanced or anything, but still at the end of it, like, I had a costume that I made, and that's like crazy that you did that. And then like in Minneapolis, I just did like a foam chest piece, and then for this one I wanted to add sewing to it, so it's just kind of like building a little bit, and then you just end up with something cool, and you're like, whoa, I made that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
We all start somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Like, and there are so many tutorials online.
Yes.
If there's something that you don't know how to do, Google it, YouTube. You will find someone, and like, it's like having a mentor.
Yeah,
you YouTube the mentor.
I for my cape, I bought a pattern on Amazon, and I just typed in the name of the pattern tutorial, and then there was like one video with like 10 views on it that just showed me exactly how to do it. I was like, thank you.
Your lifesaver.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so getting a little bit into the more nitty-gritty kind of stuff, I am actually wondering, we have these world views. I think being a gamer is just, we're able to be a part of these communities, have this like worldview change a little bit. So I'm actually wondering, how has being a gamer or just a marginalized gamer affected your worldview?
Well, being a gamer kind of, in a positive way, it gives you the community. Like, there's so many different things you can bond over, just like your video games or your D&D characters. Like, it's just like, most people I know, like, if you just like mention D&D to them, they'll just like go on and on about the backstory, and like, here's all my dice, and here's this dumb thing I did last session. And it's just a great way to just kind of connect with people, whether it be like your D&D character or just like who you're flirting with in Baldur's Gate or whatever.
Yes.
But at the same
Asterion.
Yes. At the same time, it's nice to have that community. It also feels like I have to fight a little harder to be heard in that community, because like especially when I first started, like, they kind of looked at me as a beginner, but also like as a girl. So they're like, okay, she doesn't really know what she's doing. And I mean, sometimes they're right, but I like the benefit of the doubt. Like, don't don't count me out because of my gender. Like, wait until I actually show you I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes, yeah. So it is interesting that I mean, I feel this way, but I think we can get in our head sometimes, like, as marginalized gamers, is this just my experience, or is all the other people that are marginalized as well also experiencing this? But what you said, I do, of like, it does seem like even just starting that there are stepping blocks, roadblocks really in the way, even such as, I mean, just walking in the room, like, as a femme presenting gamer, that like people just already are making assumptions. So would you say that as your communities have grown that you feel that has lessened, or do you still feel that those roadblocks are there?
I think just like the people that I kind of interact with on the internet, I think are definitely like, I've just kind of, I don't know, collected the people that are like wholesome and willing to like give everyone a chance and just are more into it for just like, they want the community, not like you're not like, I need to be better than you, so I'm going to look down on you because you're a girl or because you're new or anything.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. Mish, how has your worldview been affected as a gamer?
Well, I mean, starting with like old school PlayStation.
Yes.
I've been a gamer for a long time, and for me, a lot of it was, I didn't have, like, I grew up kind of poor, so like getting a PlayStation for Christmas was like the highlight of my year, and I spent a lot of time on it. It's been a huge thing, and I feel like a lot of people deal with stuff in like school growing up. I was bullied a lot, so I'd come home and kind of invest a lot of time in gaming just because that was like my safe place and it made me happy. And even now, like, I don't really get bullied too much. Maybe Scott. No, just kidding. That's my husband. It's not weird. It's something that I can just kind of, if I'm having a rough day, I'm like, I'm gonna go play some games, decompress, have a good time. And I guess specifically in like Magic, I feel like our local friend group, they know that I'm like the competitive grinder out of all of us, and so a lot of them have the opposite. They're like, oh God, if Misha's playing, we gotta really step our A game up. But then like when I went to an event last week and I introduced myself, that's someone that's like big in the CEDH community, and CEDH, that's like another game. Like, are we playing Magic or are we just playing Stacks? And so I introduced myself to them and I was just like, hi, I really appreciate what you do. I don't really understand it because it's like out there. And it was kind of funny because like I am kind of competitive when it comes to limited and like certain formats, but they talked to me, they're like, yeah, if you're getting into Magic, you might want to play on Arena. So I was just like,
okay.
Yeah, I was like, I might commentate standard tournaments and stuff. But it kind of made me think, like, is it because I'm a woman, or is it just because I said I didn't know anything about CDH? And it gives you like kind of that doubt of, I hope it's just not because they saw me like a female and they just assumed that I don't know what I'm doing. So
yeah.
Luckily, I don't get too much of it, and all of my local friends know that I'm a spike. So, but just to strangers that don't know me, I hope that they don't assume that, but you never know.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear that you do have a connected, local group that you're able to be a part of. I think something that I'm hoping that this channel will help connect a lot of people, but something that I actually experience in my community is that there are like pockets of really good connections where you're able to have like those safe spaces, but there are a lot of toxic spaces as well. And I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards internet communities, because you are able to like find the healthy and safe spaces. So I'm wondering, have you guys experienced one, like the real world community versus an internet community, one being more accepting than another, and why do you think that might be?
For me personally, I think starting out, because I've only been playing Magic for, I guess, about 3 years now. I started playing during the pandemic, so I'm still relatively new compared to like people that have been like, I've been playing 15 years.
Right.
So there are still a lot of things I don't know. I have to ask like questions to judges, like, how does this mechanic work? I think it does this. Is this correct? So, it's okay to not know things. Like, it is, Magic is a very hard game. And it's
complicated.
Yeah, and it's okay to not know. Like, I'm always happy if I do know something to explain, and I never want anybody to feel bad for not knowing. And I feel like in person, it took some time of, when I first started, I was very fortunate that people were very patient with me and they, taught me, and I'm pretty quick to pick things up, so then I might have beat them very fast. But they were very nice about it, and I've only had a few instances of people in person being like, God, I don't ever want to play against that person again. They were just very unpleasant. They're great when, they're happy when they're winning, but as soon as the tide turns, it's like, wow, did you have to... A personal example is a friend of mine is non-binary, and they use they, them pronouns. They wear a pin, and they were playing this guy that I'd played before, and it's just not a good sport. But as soon as my friend started winning, started misgendering them, and it was just like, come on, that's just bad sportsmanship. We all win, we all lose. Don't be like that. And I'm very happy that both in my real life and online communities, the people that are in them, it's not like he got kicked out, but we definitely were after it started happening, not to say we were bullying, but we made it clear that that's not okay. And so it's nice to know that both the in-person and online communities are curated to have people that are just good people that aren't going to be hurtful and toxic to the players in those communities.
Yeah, I was very lucky that the game store I started playing at was so even. It was still is very male dominated, but everyone was so welcoming that I could very well see myself, if I had gone into that and people were mean to me, I could have dropped out of Magic and just put it away. And then that's not to say there aren't a couple bad players. We have someone at the game shop who will refuse to play with women, and then if he does get in a pod with women, he'll try and get them out first, or it's just there's no prizes here. We're just here for fun every single Tuesday. I don't know what point you're trying to make here. And he'll just get so upset if a woman beats him, so it's just... But
I hope he always loses to women.
that's part of my inspiration. I need to get better so I can beat him more.
Yes.
But for the one of him in our game store, there are so many other great people who are just, one I was learning, just so welcoming and willing to answer questions. So I really lucked out with my in real life community, and also the people on the internet that I've kind of surrounded myself with have all been very welcoming and very accepting. And
I'm so glad. That's
yeah.
wonderful. So I guess that will kind of lead into our last question for today. What is a dream that you have for the gaming community? For marginalized gamers or just in general? It's up to you. Or both.
The one that I would love to see is just more people of marginalized gender, on the competitive scene. It is just so cis male dominated, and it's so inspiring when I do see a woman or a non-binary person that does make it to a top 8 or just getting there. Mm-hmm. But for every one of them, there's another 10 cis men. Mm-hmm. And so I would love to see just so many more people of marginalized gender breaching that barrier and getting through, and starting to play the game, because you can't get there if we don't have enough people in the community. So I hope that people will see this, start playing, realize that, it's not the scariest community, that there are going to be a lot of people out there happy to help you learn and get into it. So.
I don't know if this is a barrier that more people have or just me, but I just love to see the barrier of you need to know X amount to be a Magic player go away. Something I try to do in my content is make more stuff towards the casual player. I feel looking at it from the outside, you see all this competitive stuff, all these tournaments, and there is just casual on the side, and you don't need to know all of the lore and know what banding means to play. You just pick up the cards and come, and I'd love for there to be just no barrier of entry of saying you especially if you're a woman, you need to be able to prove yourself to enter this space.
Mm-hmm. People calling you posers.
Yes. Your boyfriend build that deck?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He might have, but I play it.
And I play it better than him, by the way.
Yes. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. Just last thing, can you tell me again where we can find you guys so that we can be sure to support you in any way that we can?
Yeah, I am Misty Step on TikTok and Instagram, and a little bit on YouTube.
And I'm Magic Mishimigo over on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, threads technically.
Nice, nice. Thank you both so much. We will see you in the next video. Happy gaming.